Hey everyone, welcome to the video on Bitcoin that I'm going to be doing. Today is Thursday, right? It's hard to tell what day it is these days because everybody is quarantined at home, losing track of time. It's Thursday, April the 2nd, 2020. And I want to do a real quick update on Bitcoin. But before I get into it, of course, this isn't financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research. And I'm just giving my opinion on the market as always. So let's just take a look at the charts. Okay. So we have our chart of Bitcoin. We have been monitoring this for quite a while. We've been monitoring this for a long time here, and keeping an eye on all of the moves that have been made here. And before I get into it, of course, I do want to outline something that a viewer pointed out, and I don't know if they're going to be watching this or not, but basically what they were pointing out was back here, there was a question on how I was counting my first wave back here where we had our initial push up. Let me get back to it over here. So that's 3, 4, 1, 2, back a little bit more. We'll get it. Here we go. All right, so the question was, how did I count this one? And is this a valid one here? Well, it's not pretty. I will tell you that. But what I can see from here, and I'll just kind of outline this, like, well, obviously, I don't like this. I don't like this one. But I see a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 right here. So that's how I'm counting the one. Do I like it? No. No, actually I hate it. But what we have to recognize is what happened down here is something, a bit of an overload on BitMEX. We all know that at the time BitMEX had just completely, gone haywire, offline. It was awful. You couldn't make any trades. So that's something that I'm trying to use as a basis for this. So I just want to outline that before I really get into the weeds here. That that's the reason why I may have counted it that way, and you may not agree with that, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to. Back to bare bones here. This is just my opinion on the market. I'd like to say that I've been pretty spot on this. Back on the 14th of March, 13th, 14th of March, I created what I called a capitulation video, and I highly suggest if you haven't seen it, it's lengthy, you should go and watch it. You'll have to look in the history, but it was back on the 13th or the 14th of March, and it was called Bitcoin Capitulation. So keep an eye on that if you haven't already seen it. But at the time I said, probably, and this again was 13th to 14th, I said, we're probably going to pull back to 4,500. You should probably buy at 4,500. And right here, we came back to 44.25. So again, this was your first indication to buy. And what did we have at the time? We had the 1 hour and the 3 hour both in oversold conditions, and the 12 hour was trending up. This was a good place to buy. And then I said, all right, well, after we pulled down there, I said that I was going to buy at 5,000, and I did. I bought at 5,000. I don't remember exactly where it was throughout this timeline, but I bought at 5,000. I bought again at 6,000 when we had our big move up. And then more recently, yesterday, I told everybody on the server, like, hey, you guys should be looking to buy at 61.50. You should look to buy at 61.50. All right, so let's just take a look here. We have right here the 1 hour and the 3 hour both in oversold conditions. This is perfect setup to buy. Right here, right in that 61.50 range, we had the 1 hour and the 3 hour in oversold conditions. It was a perfect opportunity to buy. And we had a really, really great move up. We do look like we are going to be retracing here. So I am not recommending anybody buy Bitcoin. Why would you buy Bitcoin right now? Even though the model suggests that we are going to continue to go up, buying right here is a little tricky. And there's somebody on the Discord server that is talking about this right now. Saying like, this is so confusing right now because the market's going up, but we just had a major pullback. But we're sitting on support, so are we going to continue pulling back? What's going to happen? Okay, well, let me tell you what I think is going to happen. So what I think just happened here this top right here, it could be that the model is wrong. It could be that we're not going up to a 3. If we don't pull back above this blue line right here at 69.50, if we don't pull back above that over the next couple hours, I would say that we are probably going to retest this red trend line here again. Probably is going to bring us all the way back here to about 63.50. But what I can say with a certain amount of certainty is this should be support right here. This level right here should be support, and that's sitting right there at we'll call it 67.25 just to be nice and even. If we break this, I'm probably going to cut loss. I'm actually not at a loss. My average entry on the long position is about 6,020, but I'll probably cut that. And thank you, Crypto G. I do appreciate the likes. But anyway, this level right here is pretty important. So what I would expect to see, we had a nice move up with a decent amount of volume. You can see the volume on that move up, and you could see it increased hour after hour after hour. It increased. Obviously, right now we've got some negative volume, and it's the most negative volume we've seen. Gosh, let's just take a look. The last time we saw this much negative volume was, gosh, all the way back here on March 16th. And on March 16th, where we saw that volume, was right down here where it was a perfect time to buy. Okay, so that's maybe a coincidence, but nonetheless, I do think that we have topped out, at least for the short term. But I also think that we need to hold 67.20. Ideally, we would get back above 69.50. If we get it back above 69.50, I think that the chances of this going higher are much greater. I am bullish for the beginning of April, right? And this is just April 2nd. I am bullish through about mid-April. I do expect Bitcoin to move itself all the way back up to potentially 9,000. I'm going to get off of log mode here. I do expect that Bitcoin probably will make its way back up to 9,000 to 9,400. I do think that that is a possibility, and people think I'm crazy for saying that. But I do think that it is something that we have to acknowledge as a real possibility. I think it is possible that we can do that. We can make our way up there. So, we've got a 1, a 2, a 3. I don't like the amount of time it's taken to complete this 4, but you can get a valid count out of this, an ABC into the A, ABC into the B, and then an ABC into the C to be a 4. And now, potentially, we're just working on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're in the middle of the 3 right now. So if this is a 3 and not just a C, we should see volume pull ourselves back up into this. We need to see volume. Right? If you are going to be bullish, we need to see volume pull ourselves back up above the 7,000 level. Right now it looks like there was a rejection there at 7,000 to 7,300. It does look like if you go to a lower time frame, let's just take a look at the move that took us up above 7,000 really quick here. It happened, in a very short period of time. Okay, look at the volume that we had on this candle. It was really astronomical. Right. So what I think happened here was there was a push up above 7,000, and it just continued to push up, and there was stop losses. Anybody that was short, stop losses, and just pushed the price up. And so we had basically a little bit of a short squeeze here, which is going to move the prices higher. And now what we've done is we've seen a correction down. So if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We should be seeing an ABC to move ourselves up. So if you're looking to short, guys, what you should be doing is you should be taking Fibonacci from the top, finding wherever this bottom pivot is going to be, because we're going to get a bottom, and it's going to start curling. You're going to see this thing start to move up, and you're going to want to short at the 50% retracement. If you want to short, that's what you're going to want to do. You're going to be waiting for this thing to bottom out, curl itself up, and then you're going to short there. And more often than not, we're going to get a short opportunity there. And as of right now, that short is at 7,000. And then we're going to be seeing ourselves move down. Now I'm on a 5-minute time frame here, you guys. So this is going to take more time to work itself out. And as the price continues to go down, right, this is going to be moving down as well. So just continue to move that down. So now, we're looking at 69.91. You get the idea. But we're going to move up at some point. And you're going to be looking to short the 50. That's going to be your high probability range to short on an ABC correction. And then where are you going to be looking to get out? That's the next question that I get all the time. All right, so a perfect scenario is going to be where we take the top up here, and then we find our bottom pivot, and then we pull back on the retrace. And what you're going to be looking for is 100% parity of the the A to the C, starting from where it pulled back. So in this case, you're going to be looking for a pullback to about 6,400, 6,417. So that is what I'm talking about here. Armando had a really good question. What's this ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I have an education series in my YouTube channel. And I do talk a little bit about impulses and corrections, but essentially, and this is going to be for everybody here, we'll just have an impromptu, educational video here for a moment. I pretty much covered, I guess, really quickly. Let me just finish this up, and then I'll kind of talk about what all of this means. What you're basically looking for is either a retrace back here to 6,400 after a pullback to about 7,000. And then also you're going to be looking for a pullback and a hold above 7,000, and then this could potentially move ourselves back higher. We want to see this thing go all the way up to almost 8,000. Ideally, we want this to come up to 8,000. Then we'll do a bigger retrace back to about 7,400, and which is really quite interesting about the way I've had this here for a long time. This 7,400 retrace would be perfect to retrace this move that we just had. Okay, so if we do push up above this, we would expect a retrace to this level where we capped out. So that would be perfect. But anyway, this whole model is available on our Discord. Okay, so if you want access to the model that we've got, it's on the Discord. It's available for free. It doesn't cost anything. We do have perks for people that have insured. I do models on all kinds of stocks and bonds and metals and things like that, indexes and ETFs. But the Bitcoin model is always available for free. It doesn't cost anything to have that short-term model, and this is out there. And I'm always keeping it updated for anybody that's on the server. I want to provide that to the community, and I want to educate the community. So this is what I've got right now in Bitcoin. Potential pullback to 6,400, but if we don't close below this blue trend line here, which is at 67.25, I would say we are probably going to make our way back up to 8,000. So again, I'm long from an average entry of 6,020. I'm still in that long position. I am looking for a head short position, and I may take it if we get all the way back up here to 7,000 again. All right, so that's what I got on Bitcoin. So now let's talk really quickly, because the question was brought up from Armando. What is ABC? What is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It's Elliott wave. I am an Elliott wave trader. I use Fibonacci for technical moves, technical pivots, but I do try and dig out a count from everywhere. And Alan, I will take a look at Ethereum here in just a moment as well, just so that you are aware. So let me go to a different exchange here. I'm going to go to Bitstamp, and if there's anything that I've got on here, I don't have anything on here, so this is perfect. Let me go to a 1-day time frame. I want to take a look back at 2019. Okay, so just really quick, what I'll try and explain here is what Elliott wave is. So we expect things to move impulsively in 5 waves. Okay, so we have from down here, we have a 1. We have a 2, then we have a 3, and then we have a 4 right here, and then we have a 5. Okay, so that's our impulse that we had in 2019. Okay, it's pretty well documented out there. And then inside of this, you have what we refer to as subdivision. And each impulse, each move up in this case, is in 5 waves of its own. So you have 5 waves up, you have 3 waves down. You have 5 waves up and you have 3 waves down, 5 waves up, and then you start a correction of that entire move. Once the 5 waves are complete, you correct that entire move. And in this case, we're talking about correcting, from here to here, we're correcting just this move. And then from here to here, we're correcting this move right here. And then from the 4 to the 5, we don't have anything to correct there because that is finishing the move. So now we would expect that we correct the entire move from the bottom, which was down here at about 31.21, all the way up here to the top, which was at about 13,800 or so. And we came back, we came back over 78.6%, which is really pretty unbelievable. A lot of people weren't expecting that, but this was our support, and we held this, and we did have some overload due to BitMEX, but we would expect these three levels to be the most probable retracement targets. We have the 50%. You can see right here, we had decent support here at the 50. We had a nice impulsive move off of this, but then of course we rolled over. We fell through the 618. We went all the way to the 786. But again, what you're going to be looking for is, let me just move this out of the way. You're going to be looking for a 1, a 2, a larger 3 compared to the 1. 3 is usually larger than the first wave, and then you're going to be looking for a shallow 4, and then you've got your 5. That's your 5 waves, okay? And in each of these, right, so for this first move, you should have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of its own, okay? So you should be looking for a 5 wave up, and then you're going to be retracing in 3 waves. So you've got a 1, a 2, and a 3. That's the way the market moves. That's the way the market breathes. You have an impulse up, and then you have a corrective move down. And you've got 5 waves up, 3 waves down, 5 waves up, 3 waves down. And when I'm talking about waves, I'm just talking the price goes up, that comes down, and then it goes up, and then it comes down, right? So you've got up, down, up to complete an impulse, and then you have a down, up, down to correct. If you are in a bear market, you're going to be looking for down, up, and you have this right here, so I can go ahead and show this right now. In a bear market, we had this in Bitcoin. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was diagonal. So you had down, up, down, up, down. And in each of these, we had 5 waves down, 1, 2, 3 up, 5 waves down, 1, 2, 3 up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish the move. So in each impulse, you have 5 waves of its own. So again, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time getting into this. There's lots of materials out there, and again, I can cover this inside of our Discord if anybody has any questions. But I do want to take a look at Ethereum because Alan asked me to take a look at Ethereum versus US dollar. I'm going to take a look at this on Coinbase. Ethereum had been doing pretty well. But of course, it's being sold into just like Bitcoin was. But again, talking about dominant pivots, let's take this dominant pivot here, all the way down here to this dominant pivot down here, and see what we have as far as a technical pullback. I actually think, let me pull this out of log scale and see where we're at on a linear scale. I'm going to take a look at the 382 and the 236. I'm going to pull these both into here. So we've got our resistance that was sitting here at about $137, okay, based on this move right here. This looks like a completed move, and now we're doing a retrace. I do not think this is done, just like I don't believe Bitcoin is done either. Like, we are pulling back, but I don't believe we're done. I do believe we are going to go back up. So I think the same thing can be said here about Ethereum as well. I'm an Elliott wave trader, but I do also take a look at market geometry. Okay, so let's just take a look at the geometry of this move here. So I'm going to take a look at a channel. So I'm going to pull out this tool here. I'm going to take a look from this point here and pull this out. So we've got really good basis back here. And let's just take this out to this level right here. So basically, we almost hit the median, but I tend to believe we are probably going to work our way back up over time to closer to $200. I do think it's very possible. If we take a look at support and resistance levels on Ethereum here, I know this is a little unorthodox because this was just a Bitcoin video, but this level right here should be pretty significant resistance. It's at about 100, we'll call it 175. Okay, it's going to take some time for us to work our way up there, but I do think it probably is going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen in the next day or two, but I do think that we are going to move ourselves up. Okay, so I don't think Ethereum is done. If you wanted to buy Ethereum, I would buy it closer to this lower trend line that we have here. So you can see we've got some decent support that we've already outlined here. If we take a look at this, we have support right here. We've got support right here, and we've got support right here. It's been pretty spot on actually. That's why I trust this trend line the most. I'll move this down so we can see this a little better. Basically, we had a touch, we had another touch, we had a third touch down here. Potentially I could get this just a little bit better. I think it goes up just a little bit more, but you guys get the idea, right? And then of course we had this move up here. I would expect that we do touch the upper probably one more time, and it would be ideal for it to touch here at about 175. Now we're only at $141 right now, so there's plenty of room to the upside here. Plenty of room to the upside, but a stop loss, very, very easy stop loss right here, this green trend line. So, if you're talking about trailing stops, you can see this channel right here. We have, easy for us to see that there is at the median here, we do have some confluence here. We had support here at the median. We wicked way down. We came right back up to it. Then we fell. And then we tested the lower. Now we're sitting up here trying to reach the median again. And right now, obviously, it's going to be resistance. When you have prior support, it's going to turn resistance. That's what we're having here. No, nothing different here. But I do think that we will get back up here at some point here over the next 2 weeks. Again, I still think there's plenty of time here. You don't need to rush into any trades. A good pullback is very likely, even though this candle looks absolutely atrocious right now, this 4-hour candle, which has 47 minutes on it, almost completely sold into, which is very bearish, right? So I'm just acknowledging the fact that this does look extremely bearish right now on the 4-hour time frame. So you should be very careful opening positions. I actually just told people in the Discord, do not buy Bitcoin right now because we are going to pull back. And I already covered that, right? I covered that with you guys about 10 minutes ago. We're going to pull back on Bitcoin. We're going to pull back on Ethereum, but I still believe that over the next 2 weeks, we are going to see higher prices compared to where they are today. But I also believe that we are going to pull back. The probability, what's the probability or possibility it's going to break the green line downwards? Based on the 4-hour candle that we have right now at this very moment, I say the probability is pretty high, which is why I wouldn't be placing any bids on Ethereum until probably the low 130s at this point. I would love to see this horizontal be support though, okay? The best place to be buying Ethereum right now, let me get this right here. It's gonna be right about here, yes. As we go across, you can see we've got lots of wicking support and resistance. We have resistance here, resistance here. We pushed through, then it was support. We fell through and it was resistance. And then we tried to push through, very similar to what we're doing right now. And then we did finally push through and it became support. And then it was support. And then it continued to be support. And then it was support again until it fell through. Then it was resistance, resistance, resistance. You guys get the idea, right? So now we're sitting here, and this is at about $135. 134.86 is where I've drawn this, but variable, right? 134, 135. I expect this to be support coming back. So it would not surprise me one bit for us to find support here to finally see that move back up. It's going to take time though. Every one of these candles is 4 hours of time. Okay, so we only have 6 of these candles every day. And, this is 45 minutes left on this one. Then we're going to open up a new candle. Next candle more than likely is going to be red. I do think we're going to pull back. I don't think we're going to break this. I'd say we probably have a, maybe a 70-30 chance. I think a 70% chance we break up and a 30% chance we break down, but the probability is still there that we are going to break up. Okay, and the reason why I say that simply is because we have the channel support, we have this horizontal trend line, this horizontal support here. I won't call it a trend line, this horizontal support based on the prior price history. So again, that's where my mind is right now. That's where my thoughts are. I am bullish on Bitcoin, and I'm going to continue to be bullish at least all the way up until about April 15th through April 17th. And at that point, I will come back and reevaluate. But for right now, I'm holding on to my long position. I'm going to be looking for a head short position. We already talked about that in the Bitcoin section of the video. So I do appreciate you guys all joining. This is probably, sadly enough, this is the most concurrent viewers that I have had in a long, long time. I kind of figured that this would probably be the appropriate time to do it after Bitcoin made its big move. But again, if you all want to have access to the Discord, I want you there. I want you there. And again, it doesn't cost you anything to be part of the Discord. I'm going to throw the invite here in the YouTube chat. Feel free to join in. We'd love to have you there. Again, it doesn't cost anything to be part of the community. We do offer perks to our what we refer to as our insured members. Again, I do Elliott wave analysis on all kinds of stocks and ETFs. and indexes. So if you want access to that, there's a very, very low fee for that. It's very, very minimal, and I'm actually donating all of my proceeds from that to charity for the next probably 5 weeks. I think that's what I've committed to, for the coronavirus. So we're donating all of the proceeds to charity. So really great time for you to buy in, to have some good feelings about that. You get access to all of my indicators that I have built, and then also access to all the LA wave analysis that I provide there as well. If this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, all that good stuff. But wherever you are in the world, I hope you are having a good day, a good night, and a good evening.